Guys, sorry for the network. This, okay. Until where which concept I was explaining when the network. Ah, yes, okay, literal. Okay, fine. Okay. You in between, you please someone respond. Okay, what are the questions I asked? Please someone respond so that I can know that connection is there. Okay. My screen is visible, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Fine. Ah. So what is the literal? Literal is nothing but a data which is used in our Java program. So how many different types of data we have? Data are classified into two types. One is primitive data, another one is non-primitive data. In primitive data, it is further classified into three types. What is that? Numbers, characters, and Boolean. Numbers, characters, and Boolean. So if you take numbers, in numbers again we have two different types of numbers. One is integer number, another one is floating point number or decimal number. So we know integer numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, -1, -10, -20. These are all integer numbers. So what is floating point numbers or decimal numbers? So -3.1416, -0.0, plus 27.23. Those type of decimal values we call it as decimal numbers. Clear no? Audio no. Secure net connection. The non-primitive data, if you take, means it is further classified into two types. One is strings and objects. So, what is a character? How can I identify a character? So, anything which is enclosed within single quotes, we call it as what? Character. And Boolean data, you already know. Boolean data like true or false. And strings, anything which is enclosed within double quotes, we call it as string. Don't get confused. Yes. For character, we enclose within single quotes like this. Single quotes. This we call it as character. But for string, we enclose with like this. This is single quotes. This is double quotes. So whatever the thing you write in between these double quotes, no, it is considered as string. And objects will come to that point. Next, identifiers. So what is an identifier? Identifier itself. See, look at this. Identify. Identify. So how can you identify a person? You can identify any person by the name. So here also in Java, how can you identify the components? You can identify the components with the help of name. Then what is an identifier? Identifier is the name given to the components of a Java program. Simple. Identifier is the name given to the components of a Java program by the program. Okay. So, for example, if you take class name, for what you want class name? Is it mandatory? Yes. Let me tell you. How can you compile any Java program? You can compile Java program by using a command. What is that command? Java C class name dot Java. See, if you want to compile class name, what you want class name. So without class name, how can you compile any class? Impossible. So for any class, we need a class. Then, sir, can I give however I want my class name? No. There are some rules for that. There are some rules. Let me tell you. First, let us discuss about some rules. Rules of an very important identifier. So, can anyone tell me rules of an identifier? First, rule number one: identifier should never start with a number. Never start with a number. This is the rule number one, the very first most rule. Rule number two: keywords cannot be used as an identifier. Keywords cannot be used as identifier. Rule number 3. Character space is not allowed. Yes. Character space is not allowed in between the identifiers. Next, special characters are not allowed. Special are not allowed except dollar and underscore. Except and underscore, special characters are strictly not allowed. So these are all some rules of an identifier. And along with this rule, we have something called as conventions. So what is this conventions? Conventions is nothing but it is an industrial standard. It is an industrial standard. It means all the IT company peoples will follow this. So it's like as a programmer, you have to follow the rules. Why? Because don't follow the rules, you will get compile time error. That is for sure. Rule means everyone should follow. If you don't follow the rules, compiler will not agree. See guys, there is mention one note. Okay, if you don't follow the rule, no, we get compile time error. So it is strictly recommended for a programmer that if you don't follow rule, compile time error is guaranteed. So you will get compile time error if you don't follow the rule. But what is this convention? Conventions of an identifier. Conventions is nothing but it is some coding standards, or we call it as industrial standard, where all the programmers are mandatory to follow. Sir, if I don't follow the conventions, do I get any compile time error? Sir, no, you won't get any compile time error, but it is highly recommended for a programmer to follow the convention. So what are all the conventions? We'll discuss about that. Assume class name. I told no, for every class name, for every class name is important. Yes. So if you want to name that class name, then always the starting letter of the class should be in capital. Assume it is a single name. Even in class name, it is divided into multiple types. Assume it is a single name. Single name. Assume. So if it is a single name like demo, program, or mm, prime, like this, even, like this. See, if you want to name your class like this, so at the time, if you observe this, see, the first letter of every word should be capital, and the rest of the word should be in lowercase. Only the first letter should be in capital, in uppercase. See, in this case, D is capital, P is capital. Here also P is capital, E is capital, like that. So this is how you can do the convention for a class. What if it is multi-worded, sir? If it is multi-word, single. If it is multi-word, assume like uh, factors of a digit. Fact of digit. So look at this. This fact is one word, of is one word, digit is one word. For each and every starting word, the starting letter should be in uppercase. So for each and every individual word, see, fact is one separate. For this fact, the starting letter should be in uppercase. And of is one more word, so the initial O should be in uppercase. And digit is one separate word. In that, say D should be in uppercase, and the rest of the word should be in lower. So this is how the convention. Sir, if I don't follow the conventions, do I get any compile time error? No. But it is highly recommended to follow the conventions. Yes, clear? Okay. Now we'll see some components of Java. Guys, just a second. Sir, can use alphabet and number working class? Yes, you can use. But I told no, the identifier should never start with a number. It should not start with a number. That's it. But in between, at last, you can use. Like demo one, program two, you can use. But one program, two program, that is not allowed. Now we will see some components of Java. What are our components of Java? I mean, members of a class, which you can also call it as members of a class. What are all the members of a class? Members of a class are like variable. Next, this is variable. Then methods. Next, initializers. Yes. So what is an variable? First, let us discuss this. Members of a class. Members of a class. So what is a variable? Variable is nothing but it is a small block of memory which is used to store the data. It is a small block of memory which is used to store the data. Then what is a method? Method is nothing but it is a let me type it. Let me type it over here. So what is a variable? Variable is a small container which is used to store the data. What is a method? Method is a block of instructions. You can also call it a set of instructions or block of instructions. Both are same. Don't get confused. Set or block of instructions which are used to perform some task, some specific task. Yes. Then what is this initializers? Initializers are nothing but these initializers are used to execute the startup instructions. Yes. If you take variable, yes. If you want to declare a variable, how can we declare a variable? Before declaring a variable, we have to specify something called as data type. So data type, variable name is equal to data. So if you take variables, no, we have two types of variables. One is local variable and another one is global variable. In that global variable, it is again further divided into two types. One is static and non-static. So listen here. First one, local variable. So this we call it as actually scope of a variable. Okay, scope of a variable. Scope of a variable. So in scope of a variable, first one is local variable. So what is a local variable? A variable which is declared inside a memory, sorry, inside a method or a block. A variable which is declared inside a method or a block. So this any variable, if it is declared inside a method or a block, we call that variable as local variable. There are some characteristics for this local. Let us see characteristics of local variable. So first one, attendance. Just a second. I'll increase it. That's fine. Ah. So what is a variable? Variable is nothing but it is a small container which is used to store some data. So if we take scope of a variable, we have it is further classified into like two types. One is local variable, another one is global variable. So first let us discuss about local variable. Local variable is nothing but a variable which is declared inside a method or a block. We call it as a local variable. Let us see some characteristics of that local variable. First one, if you declare any variable inside any block or a method, so only it can be nested only inside that method. Which means if you want to use that only within that block of only within that block or only within that particular method, you can access that local variable. So if you want to access outside of that particular block or outside of that particular method, you are not supposed to access. Why? Because that particular variable will become local to that block or method. Okay. So that is first one. So it becomes nested inside that particular block or method. This is first one. So if you want to access any local variable, only where you have declared, I mean in which particular block you have declared, only there you can access it. So outside of that you want to access, it is not possible and you will get compile time error. So second one, without initializing values to the local variable, you are not supposed to access that. Okay. Without initializing data to local variable, you are not supposed to access that. You are not supposed to access that variable. Why? Because simple. For local variables, default values are not applicable. Default values are not applicable. Simple. Hence, local variables are not applicable by default values, so that you are not supposed to access any local variable without initializing it. So make sure that before initializing any local variable, you are assigning data to it. Okay? So these are all some of the characteristics of local variables. Now we will see about static variables. So we already know that static variables are declared in the class block. So static members, so it becomes one of the static members. I mean class member. So what are all the members which we prefix with static? No, it belongs to class members. So even your static variable is a member of a class. So that is why we are declaring the static variables inside class block. So it doesn't belong to any of the method block or any of the blocks. So it will be belongs to only class block. Hence we are declaring the static variables inside class block. So these static variables are applicable with default values. These static variables are applicable with default values. So hence, without initializing any data to a static variable, you can use that. Why? Because default values are applicable. So that when you declare any variable, if you declare any static variable, and if you are not initializing any data to that, in that particular place, default values will get stored. So that if you print the data, you will get the default value. For example, assume static int a is a I have declared. I'm not storing anything. What is the default value of int? Default value of int is 0. Yes. So we will get, so 0 will be stored in the place of a. And these static variables are global in nature. Global in nature. And to take non-static. So these non-static variables are loaded and loaded and assigned with some memory inside object. So where the memory allocation is given for non-static variable, the non-static memory allocation will be given inside an object. Static variables will get loaded and assigned with default values. Sir, for this also, whether default values are applicable, sir? Yes. Even for non-static variables also, default values are applicable. Yeah. So this is about scope of variable. So hence, even for non-static variable, even though without you are initializing the data, can I access, sir? Yes. The reason is default values are applicable. But the thing is, when it comes to static variables, the memory allocation will be given inside class static area. But when it comes to non-static, the memory allocation will be given inside object. That is the difference. Except that, nothing. Fine. Now we will see something important, that is typecasting. Typecasting. What is typecasting? Typecasting is nothing but the process of converting one type of data to another type. Converting So where was I teaching? Where was I teaching? Typecasting. Oh, fine. Ah, fine. Listen. Oh, so what is this typecasting? Typecasting is nothing. Is the process of converting one type of data to another type of data. The process of converting one type of data to another type of data is nothing but typecasting. In typecasting is again further divided into how many types? Two types. So what are those? We'll discuss. One is how many types of data we have actually. We have two types of data: primitive data, non-primitive data. So the conversions are also two types. One is primitive conversion, primitive type casting. The second one is non-primitive type casting. Primitive casting and non-primitive type casting. When it comes to primitive type Okay, listen here. First one, primitive typecasting. It is already classified into types. So we'll discuss only about primitive typecasting. What is the primitive typecasting? The process of converting one type of primitive data to another type of primitive data. One type of primitive data to another type of primitive data. This process of conversion we simply call it as primitive typecasting. Converting one type of primitive data to another type of primitive data. So first tell, if anybody asks you, if an interviewer asks you, what is typecasting? First tell them the definition. So typecasting is the process of converting one type of data to another type of data. So again, it is classified into two types. One primitive typecasting, another one is non-primitive typecasting. What is primitive typecasting? The process of converting one type of primitive data to another type of primitive data is nothing but primitive typecasting. In this primitive typecasting, again, it is further classified into widening and narrowing. What is widening? The name itself says widen, which means enlarge, increase, expand, many things will come. It means that the process of converting smaller range data to smaller range data to higher range data. Higher range data. So what is the widening process? It is a process of converting smaller range data to higher range of data. The name itself says widening, widen, which means increase or expand or enlarge. So, any examples, sir? Yes. Listen here. If we take int a is equal to 10, I am taking. So 10 is of what type? Int type. Now let me declare one more container. Double b is equal to. Now b is of what type? B is of double type. B is of double type. A is of what type? A is of int type. Now see what will happen. I will assign a value to b. So a is of what type here? A is of int type. B is of double type. So here I am assigning directly a value to b. So what is stored in a? In a, it contains 10. So the 10 I am directly giving it to b. So b is of what type? Double type. So whenever if I print, no, system dot out dot println, system dot out dot println, if I do of a. So what I will get here? I will get 10. Why? Because we already know in A we have A. A I am speaking about. In A we have stored 10. And if I print B, if I print B, in B which one is stored? In B also I am assigning A value to that. A has 10. But it is getting converted to which one? Double type. So if I print B, I will get what? 10.0. Which means it got converted to double type. This is nothing but what? This is nothing but widening. Okay, the process of converting smaller range data to higher range data is nothing but widening. So in this widening, if you observe here, I am assigning directly smaller range data to larger range. That's it I am doing. Am I doing anything? Am I converting it? No. Then who is converting? Our compiler only implicitly converts this. Compiler only implicitly performs widening. Hence it is called as auto widening or implicit widening. Why? What is the reason? Because there is no data loss. The thing is, let me mention a note over here. Very important. Listen. You people know the concept, but whenever an interviewer asks some questions on that, no, you people know. Most of the people I have seen in demo and while taking your mocks, no, most of the people I have seen. You people are failing to explain the concept. Even though if you know, most of the people they fail. So what is widening means? They simply tell the definition and they'll be quiet. They'll be looking at the interview. So don't do that. So what is a widening? Widening means first tell them the definition. It is the process of converting smaller range data to higher range data. For example, give this example and mention our compiler will perform widening implicitly or automatically. Tell this. Why? What is the reason? Because let it go down. Are you people able to follow? Because there is no data loss. So since there is no data loss, our compiler will perform widening automatically or implicitly. So that is why we call it as widening as auto widening or implicit widening. Both are same. Okay, understood? So no data loss. So that is why our compiler only will take the responsibility to perform widen. Second one, narrow. So what is narrowing? Just vice versa. Vice versa means reverse. Converting higher range data to lower range data. Converting higher range data to lower range data is nothing but narrowing. In this narrowing, our compiler will not perform narrowing implicitly. Why? Because there is a chance of data loss. Assume I have some double. Take double of B is equal to 23.45 something I have. So double value I have. Now int of A is equal to, I will assign the D. So D is of what type? Double type. A is of what type? Int type. So compared to double, int is very small. So how can you give that? In this case, there is a chance of data loss. Yes, exactly. Since there is a chance of data loss, our compiler will not perform narrowing implicitly. So I will get compile time error stating that lossy conversion error. Lossy conversion error. It means that data loss. Lossy conversion error means it is nothing but what? Data loss. Since there is a chance of data loss. There is a chance of data loss. Our compiler will not take the responsibility to perform. Our compiler will not take the responsibility to perform narrowing automatically. So as a programmer, you have to perform narrowing explicitly. By using how? By using typecast operator. As a programmer, you have to convert using typecast operator like this. Yes. People typecast operator. say D is of what type, D is of double type, to which type you are planning to convert to int type. So use int as type case of, and if I print SOPLN of A, so what I will get? I will get 23, which means 4.45 is gone. Data loss. So since there is such a loss, your compiler will not perform narrowing immediately. So understood now? So about when it comes to non-primitive type discuss when time comes. Okay. So is the understood? Clear now? Okay. Fine. So tell this what is advantage of their widening? What is the disadvantage in narrowing? How to overcome that? Tell. Like, when it comes to widening, there is no chance of data loss. So our compiler will perform wide. But when it comes to narrowing, there is a chance of data loss. So our compiler takes the responsibility to perform narrowing implicitly. That is why we call this narrow explicit narrow. Why? Because explicit means as a program you should do that. Your compiler will not automatically do. So as a program you have to do narrowing explicit. So how by using typecast operator you can perform narrowing explicitly. Here. Next, something we'll discuss very important now called as operators. What an operator? Operator is nothing but a special symbol. Special symbol. Operators are nothing but the special symbols. Where each and every operator is assigned with some specific task. In Java, each and every operator is assigned with specific task. So by using those operators, you can easily make those. Yes, until where I was. Yes, network connections. Yes, yes, yes. Fine. Yes, fine. Cool, cool. Ah, operators. What is an operator? Oh, my screen is not this. Okay. Yeah, my screen is not visible. Ah, fine. Listening. What is an operator? Operator is nothing but a special symbol which are used to perform a specific task on the given data. So if you observe here, this plus is nothing but an operator. So even this plus is assigned with some task. So what is the task performed by the plus operator? Simple, to perform addition between the numbers. So if you want to make no, to perform addition, we can make use of the plus operator here. So here I already told you whatever the data which we are passing to an operator. So here plus is known as operator. Then what is this 10 and what is this 20? This 10 and 20 are nothing but data. What is the data? The data which is given as an input to the operator is nothing but operands. The data is given as an input to the operator is known as operand. So let us see some of the classifications of operators. So first one, arithmetic operators. So we already know that arithmetic operators are plus, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modular division. So I hope everybody knows for what division is used and for modulus division is used. Division is used for quotient. If you use division, you will get quotient as output. But if you use modulus division, you will get remainder as output. Okay. Normal division is used for quotient, and modulus division is used to get remainder. Second one, arithmetic operator, assignment operator. The name itself says assignment, means assigning the data. How will you assign the data? Using equals. So equals, plus equals, minus equals, multiplication is equal. Next, division equals, and modular division equals. So first it performs the calculation and then it assigns data to the variable. That is what. So for example, A int A is equal to 10 I have, and int B is equal to 20 I have. Okay. Now if I use SO assume A is equal to A plus B, I will do like this. So what is the value of A? 10. What is the value of B? 20. 10 plus 20, 30. Where that 30 is getting assigned? It is getting assigned to A. So if I print A, OPLN of A, what will be the output in this case? What is stored in 30 now? Sorry, what is stored in A now? 30. Sir, is there any other way to do like this, sir? Yes. What is that? Using assignment operator like this. A plus is equal to B. Means that first it performs addition between A and B, and then it will assign the final result to A. So even in this case, I will get the same output 30. Clear? So this is nothing but an expansion of this. Okay, this operators is nothing but expansion for us. Clear now? Next, third one, logical operator. Logical operator, we already know what are all the types of logical operators we have. We have logical and logical or and logical not. So when AND operator will return true, AND operator will return true when both the statements are true. For this logical operator, you pass only Boolean data. You are not supposed to pass any numerical data or some other character data. Only Boolean data you can supposed to pass inside this logical operators. Fine. And when AND operator will return true, if both the statements are true, AND operator will return true. if either of any statement becomes false, and operator will return false. And if you take OR operator, when OR operator will return true? If any either of one of the statement returns true, then the entire statement will be true. OR operator will return true in the case of at least one statement should be true. If it is not operator is nothing but it's a negation. Negation means if it is true, what is the negation to that? It means inverse to that. False. If it is false, it becomes true. That's it. Inverse. Yes. So this is nothing but about logical operator. Next, fourth one. Increment or decrement operator. So increment or decrement operator. If you take increment or decrement, increment can be specified with the help of plus plus. So decrement can be specified with the help of minus minus. So in this, we have something called as pre-increment and pre-decrement. Pre-increment, post-increment. Pre-decrement and post-decrement. So it means plus plus, assume it A is equal to 10 I have. Okay. If I use, okay, A is equal to plus plus A and A is equal to plus plus A I have given, and I will print that A value final. SOPLM of A I will. In this case, what will happen? So first initially, what is the value of A? 10. So it becomes increment, means 11. Where that 11 is getting to assign? It is getting assigned to A. So A becomes 11 in this case. Next again, 11 becomes 12, and the 12 I am assigning to A, so that it becomes 12. And if I print A, what is the output? 12. But if you take this is in the case of pre-increment. Pre-increment. It means first it will increment the data and then it will make use of incremented data. First increase the data and assign the data to the variable. After that, make use of the data. But when it comes to post increment, the same example I'll take. Int A is equal to 10, and instead of plus plus A, I will use A plus plus. A plus plus. So in this case, first, what is the value of A? What is the value of A is 10. So directly it will substitute 10 over here. So how much will be substituted here? 10 it will be substituted. And A plus plus. A plus plus means A becomes 11 here. Yes. But how much value substituted here? 10. So the 10 will get assigned to which one? A. So A again becomes 10. And in this case again, what is the value of A? A value is 10. So it will substitute 10. But increment, which one I have to increment? Substituted value? No, this value. So it becomes how much? It becomes 11. But how much? So finally, if I print A, what I will be get? I'll get 10 is the output. So this is the difference. First, it will substitute the value, then it will increment. But here, first it will increment the value, then it will substitute the incremented value. That's it. Okay. Next. Bitwise operator, let's not discuss about that. It's no need. Next, relational operator. Relational operator. So what are the relational operators, sir? First, what is this relational operator? Relational operators are used to represent the relation I don't know why it is torturing me. So until where I was, which one I was teaching you? Relational. Ah. See, relational operators are used to represent the relationship between two given data. So in the form of boolean. So either true or false it will return. Now let us say about conditional operator. This conditional operator you can take example as ternary operator. Ternary operator means the operator which accepts three operands as an input. So it will be having three inputs. So input one, question mark, input two, semicolon. So here in this, the input one, whatever you are giving, that should be the condition. Except condition, you are not supposed to give any other. Why? Because based on this condition only, it will decide whether should I need to execute this or this. Now tell me, in this condition, n is greater than 5, true or false? True. True means this one will get executed, or else false means this one will get executed. Simple. So if I give like this, what will be the output? It will be 10. So what in case I will give like this? 10 is less than 5. Whether 10 is less than 5? No, false. False means which one will be the output? 5 will be the output. Like so, if it is greater, if 10 is greater than 5, if this statement 1 returns true, then statement 2 will get blindly executed. If statement 1 returns false, then blindly statement 3 will get executed. So this is about ternary operator. I mean conditional or ternary both are same. Don't get confused. These are all about operators. Next, we'll see something important, that is decision making statements. So what is this decision making statements? Either you call it as decision making statements or control transfer statements, both are same. If sometimes interviewer might ask you, tell me something about decision making statements, or else sometimes he might have asked you, tell me something about control transfer statements. So never get confused. Both are same. Whether it is decision making or control transfer, both are same. Different types of decision making statements. That's it. That is if. So we already know the syntax for if. If followed by condition. Yes, and inside this we will write what statements. There will write statements. So when the statements will get executed, when if block condition returns true, then only these statements will get executed. Then assume if else, something we have as if else block. What is the syntax for the first if? Same thing, condition. Copy and paste. And followed by else. So here